Welcome back to Curse, Code, and Crown, a live play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition podcast featuring a fully original world and campaign. I am the wizard Cronox, observer of time. Curse, Code, and Crown features our regular voiceover artists and improvisers, Laura Elizabeth as the Orcountant Eta, Tyler Hewitt as Makka Deathcap, and Ryan LaPlante as Duncan Danno, alongside our dungeon master, the incredible Tom McGee. So get ready for an adventure including thrills, chills, and hope for a brighter tomorrow. It's time for Curse, Code, and Crown!
Eta, you have demons. You have demons surrounding you, lurching out of the darkness. To refresh your and everyone listening and watching's memory, having been betrayed by Dagwood Smithsonian and booted off of a floating platform, you've fallen into a seemingly disused part of the mine, and a demon breach has begun, or so it would seem. A number of creatures are entering. Luckily, they're doing that slow zombie thing. So as you ease yourself up, ignoring the broken ribs and pain that causes, you can see 4 demons lurch forward from the darkness. Around you, there are multiple. There's broken sort of mining gear everywhere. There are exits, but the demons seem to be coming through those exits. Okay. What do you do?
I kind of try to back away with my hands up. And I just say, like, oh, good. I can help you destroy your enslavers. And then I just start doing, all right, let's try the Fibonacci sequence again. I'm going to try to charm them into believing me.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Actually, they have to roll wisdom saving throw, DC 14.
Unfortunately, they are not swayed by your obvious lie. Or actually, I mean, I guess it's not really a lie.
It's not really a lie. I'm pretty angry.
You are making some assumptions about how they fit into all this. They instead, they're the sort of large, toothy grins grow wider. Like, I'm imagining these as like, this is probably just for Ryan, but like
40K blood letters.
Yeah, classic 40K blood letters. Yeah, thank you. You knew exactly what I was putting down. So they sort of jagged claws, and they aren't carrying any weapons. Or at least the first few aren't.
Like man-sized Tim Curry in Legend.
Yes. Yeah. And they proceed to rush you. Go ahead and roll initiative. That's the sound of confidence.
18.
18. Well, the good news is you're up first. Eta, the demons are rushing you. What do you do?
Well, fuck, man. I mean, I just have to like say, yell non-existence, and try to confound them with the concept of non-existence.
Okay.
And they got to make an intelligence saving throw, DC 14.
That is a 16, I'm afraid.
Okay, so they take 7 damage. 7 psychic damage.
All right. Yeah, that's not bad. One moment, please. So that's
and I just say, please, I'm not lying. I will not hurt you. If you do not attack me, I will help.
You hear a chorus of madness in your mind that is no language you know or understand, and is most mathematically incorrect in its guttural phrasing. And they move in to attack. So with claws raised high, the demons lurch at you. Meanwhile, you've left the embassy, Makka and Duncan, with a new quest. Find Duncan a mask.
This box of other notes that were locked away, is there anything getting in the way of me just grabbing that and going, or
No,
am I okay to
absolutely
have
not.
it?
You can just have that. Yep.
Okay.
You can have that for after this arc.
Yeah.
But
Thought it was important.
Yeah.
We'll put it in his netting on his shell, so it's there.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it, but it's well stowed.
I got you. Yeah. It's a dangerous season 2 MacGuffin. Cool. So, what are your direct plans? Obviously, you're hoping that Jaden will go convince Karen to go see Jeanette about the armor. In the meantime, what do the two of you want to do?
Well, I mean, Duncan would be pushing to go find Ita immediately if she's in danger, because she's like an innocent, and we have a lead because we know the name of the guy she was after, whatever it is.
You know the rank. You don't have his actual name. Or no, I guess Makka did hear. Was told it was Dagwood. So you both recognize that is the man that Ita repeatedly said she had to go see. So likely down in records. That said, neither of you have any reason to go down there. How do you try and convince, who do you go and try and find? Or are you just like asking random people? Like, unfortunately, with President Nagata having grade, your kind of greatest ally is no longer available to you. But what is your plan for finding her?
All right, Makka, we need to find someone. We don't know where they are, and we don't really have a tremendous amount of friends, though we have a lot of goodwill. Do you have some way you can track Ita or find Ita amongst your various turtle abilities?
Does stand out, given the populace of Sprangbrekh. Perhaps if we ask people who have seen an orc, they will be able to direct us to her.
And I'm also just going to review my spells here. I don't have anything prepared that could help us, is the problem. Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry to say.
Makka, would you like to spend some stress
Sure.
to have prepared that?
Uh,
This will blow your entire stress. For those of you listening who perhaps aren't familiar with this mechanic, because we haven't really used it in the show very much, I don't think. Stress is a mechanic stolen from Blades in the Dark that basically lets you have things you would want to have that would make the story more interesting at hand. Everyone gets 5 points of stress that they can spend for such things. Makka, in this case, I will say this will wipe you out because having a different spell prepared is kind of a not insignificant deal.
Yeah.
But if you can justify why Makka would, or what, it can be past experience, it can be desperation right now, whatever you think it would be.
I think I know what it is then. So I'm going to have prepared the level 2 spell Locate Object. I'm just going to enter that in really quick. The justification being Makka probably thought, I'm now typing the name Makka, oh boy, that a empty, albeit conscious, but an empty suit of armor might constitute an object. So if they were having trouble tracking down Karen, he would cast Locate Object. I think that's like the narrative reasoning behind why he did in fact have it prepared today.
Cool. Great. Love it.
So the way the spell works is you can describe or name an object that is familiar to you. And familiar in this is basically as long as you've seen it up close within 30 feet at least once. So being in close proximity to Ita as traveling companions, like coming through Sprangbrekh and also even like fighting side by side against a salamander. I don't remember, what was the weapon that Ita used?
She's got a short sword. I think she used her great club though.
She did use a great club, yes.
Yeah. That's what she
so I think that is what Makka will focus on, and he will name it out loud as he sort of meditates and says,
Ita's great club.
And now I hope this is enough. You sense the direction of the object's location as long as that object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the spell One other thing that Tom should know is that the spell can't locate an object if any thickness of lead, even a thin sheet, blocks a direct path between you and the object.
There's no lead down here. You're
How long
fine.
does it last for, Tyler?
10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say there's definitely bits of lead in some of the older areas of the mine, but given that it's a 10-minute spell and with 1,000 feet of range, I think walking around a little bit, it's almost like trying to divine where water might be. Okay. It's not immediately apparent to you, but you know that it's just kind of just beyond what you can reach. So you wander around a little bit to kind of find the direct path. What does Makka trying to sense this look like? Is he like sniffing the air? What do you think that is?
I don't think it's so much like tracker behavior, like using like 6 or 5 conventional senses to locate this object. I think it's definitely feeling like a pull from the cluster. Now that the powers of like the Fae and fairies are starting to manifest, like as he gets stronger, his connection to like fairies and stuff like that also become a little stronger as well. I think there's probably a little bit of pull from like Fae energies as well. I don't know how present they would be in a cold, dark underground place, which might contribute to why it's a little tough to track.
Okay, cool. I love that. So Makka, using this methodology and kind of like finding your way around and feeling it, you do eventually get a proper lead to the Great Club. And it feels very far away, but you do have a lock on it. From what the two of you have learned, both from your conversations with Ita and also just kind of with Makka, you talking to President Nagata, you understand that there is a massive mine system under the stronghold of Sprangbrekh, and it would seem that that is definitely where she is. It gives you, with 10 minutes, the odds of you being able to get there are low, but you have a general like trajectory for it, which is down.
She is deep, deep below us, Duncan. She is in the mines, I suspect. Yes.
Well, then let's find a way down and get into those fucking mines.
She is in grave danger. We must hurry.
Tom, the way an underground civilization is structured, is there a way to like not necessarily take the stairs, but like skip kind of down into the mines?
Well, who was it? Wasn't it Kevin Fast Travel or someone like that?
Yeah, Kevin Fast Travel is your man. He is the best. No, you were correct. He's the best of the people who run carts, but you definitely have seen those carts zipping around.
I think Tyler's also asking if there are like gaps in the floor where you can like, there's no fire pole, but ways to fall down. Or what were you asking, Tyler?
Well, even like we're on like a walkway, right? Whatever kind of area of this city that we're in. Can we just like take a turn, jump off the walkway and land like 30 feet down, like another level kind of thing? Like 30 feet is a big drop, but like, are there ways to like get down?
Is there like a fire pole?
From Sprangbrekh proper, no. It's been built, this is a fucking stupid metaphor, but it's all I got. Sprangbrekh as a fortress is basically the plug on top of this entire underground cavern system.
Okay.
So if you think about the way the mines are structured and what they're mining, it's specifically built this way in the way a lot of nuclear facilities are. To mean if you need to lock the entire mine off from the rest of the world, Sprangbrekh can technically do that.
Okay.
So what that means is that there is a floor, essentially. That said, there are fast travel ways down, in addition to Kevin Fast Travel's fast travel services. You aren't privy to any of those yet, but you could definitely find them. But no, it's not like a Coruscant, or I mean, if we want to go a little deeper, Nar Shaddaa, of like walkways that you can leap down. It's once you get under this, then it gets to that. But where you are currently, it's almost like a castle has been plugged into.
So it's not so much, we're not dealing with a vertical society right now.
You are to some extent, but not all the way down to the caverns. There's like there is a base level floor that plugs off the gap, and then above that you've got the verticality with like the walkways and everything. But there's still like a a
The
base
mine is
layer.
under the floor. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Then, I mean, it's like, I know from Makka's point of view, it's like this is like completely new and like foreign city to him, even though he's been here for like a day or whatever, right? So I don't think he knows how to get to the mine per se. I think it would just be like a matter of like asking, like just.
I think
like,
if there's not clear signage that we can run towards, then we're just going to ask somebody.
Cool. So can you roll an investigation check, please? I assume this is Duncan asking, or I mean, Makka, you would also likely just be asking people. You're not particularly good at it, but I think you'd just be like, yes.
I think we'd probably both be asking people, because I think the one thing we don't want to do is trust one drunk asshole to know the answer.
You are correct.
That's a 3. So Makka's that one drunk asshole.
And
sometimes the dice really come up well for narrative in this game.
And that's a nat 1. He's really counting on Makka to carry this.
So you're asking people, but as outsiders, they're kind of like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Come on, we're having a foam party. They have no interest. I mean, honestly, it'd be like going to a casino and being like, hi, I'd like to see the plumbing set up, please. Are there water filtration units? And like, no, fuck off. Come. Whoever of Siegfried and Roy is still alive, they're doing it. They're doing another tiger show. So yes, unfortunately, you are met with huge resistance. And Ryan, because you rolled a 1, you are in fact carried on a tide of excited dwarves into the foam party, where it's dark. There's loud music. Hurdy-gurdy's just fucking blaring, and just foam for days. No one is helpful. Everyone is the worst, but unfortunately you haven't found a way to extricate yourself from this. So Makka, you are left alone briefly. You know where he is, like he's within sight. What do you think Makka would do next?
Makka's going to do 2 things. Makka's going to cast Conjure Animals and just burn through his fucking spell slots.
My man. Don't worry, there's no demons downstairs. We've established
no problem. So that's challenge rating of 0. So how many do I spawn with challenge rating 0? I'm assuming a lot.
Ruh-roh. I say about myself and the
8
story.
beasts of challenge rating 1/4 or lower. Okay, so this is lower.
I summon the sandworms of Dune.
I summon 8 bats, cave bats.
Oh, cool!
Fun.
And immediately instruct them to look for the way to the mines. And I leave. I like just disperse the bats, and I say like find the mines. And I go to the foam party to try and bring back Duncan.
All right.
He's like, take your hands off me, you little bastards. No one can hear him, but he's swearing vociferously.
Amazing. I do love the idea of like, obviously this wouldn't, we can just say it's swinging lanterns, but like one of those classic club scenes in a movie where it's just like the strobes going so you can't see everything, like that club shootout in Collateral. And it's just Duncan swearing and pushing people. And then just in the background, like coming from away is just like this turtle just stomping through, but we just keep seeing him get closer and closer, like a horror movie grabbing Duncan, all the dwarves like being like, yeah, and just dragging him out. Amazing. Meanwhile, deep down below Fortress Sprangbrekh, Gwen, you are trying to find your way back up to the surface. And as we mentioned, I guess 2 episodes ago now, you legitimately find yourself in the armory, which needless to say is not actually where Ita was brought. So for a moment, you've been bouncing off demon knights, and you've been making like decent progress kind of pinging your way through. Unfortunately, a squad of 4 go rushing by, and they're running at a clip. So your trajectory misses, and unfortunately you can't anchor to them. So they like book it past, and suddenly you find yourself drifting. And you drift into a what seems to be a workshop of some sort in the armory. And there are a number of statues here of petrified dwarves in their demon knight armor. But you also notice that in this room, unlike kind of the more almost decorative nature of them everywhere else, you can see there are diagrams on the walls and work tables, and you get the sense that this is where grade demon knights are brought for study and for kind of iteration and improvement on the armor. So it seemed to be in kind of like an experimental lab. And although there isn't any full armor that you can jump to that isn't possessed, similar to the glove, you are able to take a brief rest in a shin guard that is on the table, sort of half complete. So again, continuing to kind of use our space metaphor of like when you're just drifting in space, you can't really maneuver where you're going. You are able to tether to this shin guard and drag yourself in. And to some extent, it's kind of like just having a place to rest because you haven't been able to inhabit any of the armor you've been bouncing off of. It's been a hell of a ride because you rolled poorly 2 sessions ago. So like this is nice. So Gwen, you have a moment to take stock. With every demon knight you've hit, they've all reacted to your presence, which is also new for you, kind of drifting through armor. But you've also observed when you were falling through the many layers of this, pinging off the petrified suits. I guess what I'm asking is, I know you as a player from the context of other players' stories have put together what's going on. How much do you think Gwendolyn has put together?
Honestly, she's pretty absorbed in what's going on with herself.
Cool. I guess, I mean, this all relates to what's going on with her because she's trying to kind of figure out where she can live now and what she can do.
Yeah.
All right. So then
this is more just like, God, help, someone help me. Duncan, where's Duncan? Like,
cool.
Like that. I wish she was thinking about the bigger picture.
I understand.
She's
Totally
not.
fair. Can you roll me a wisdom save, please?
Yeah.
Panic groaning check.
Tomato.
14.
14. Okay. So after a moment of that, of just like that pure, like, and completely understandable, like if you were in a human body or like an organic body, what would probably be like heaving gasps of like that sort of horrible panic attack feel. You're momentarily left to the incredible, strange, solitary. Even with the glove, at least you could like kind of move things. There's nothing to move on the shin guard. It is just a shin guard.
As a former soccer player, am I able to smell myself?
Laura, I also only have soccer as a shin guard metaphor here. No, because this has never been worn.
Oh, thank God.
It is you got lucky. It is not that rare stench that only somehow comes off of shins. Theoretically, the least smelly part of the body.
I know. Like as soon as you said shin guard, literally that smell.
In my head, though, it is just a sock. Like I know it's actually made of metal and like something a knight would wear, but like in my head, it's just a fucking soccer shin guard. But no, it's if this was like an Iron Man movie, it would be like the gauntlet where there's still like wires and shit hanging out the side. Like it's not even fully hammered or crafted. It's an in progress shin guard. So no, happily.
Okay,
no.
a weird thing I know, but if we're talking medieval knights armor, that part of the armor is called a greave.
Aww.
A greave is the shin guard.
And you know who has many grievances? Gwen. So
fucking appropriate.
Yeah. So you do have a second as you kind of catch your breath and prepare for the next phase of this fucking nightmare. To take stock of what might be happening. And Gwen, I think the worst thing, and we've talked about this before in previous episodes, but I think there's, in addition to like needing to like get to Duncan, and you also aren't sure if Karen is like speaking in your voice or is pretending to be you, or like what the fuck is happening. Although actually, sorry, that's not true, because you did, as the Koi, you were able to observe that she's playing it as though she is your heir, not that she took over. But the idea of Karen ruling is truly horrific. And I think for all of Duncan's warnings about bad governance, and also what you observed from your father and like court and all of that, I've also been watching a lot of The Crown, so a lot of this kind of like passing the legacy stuff is kind of fresh in my mind. But I think there's something to the idea that there was one thing when it's like, okay, my father kind of sucks. Eventually I will replace him. And by the time I do, I will probably also kind of suck, but I can be incrementally better. Fine. That's the way it's always been, whatever. You always kind of assumed you'd be better though. And realizing that Karen could well become the Queen of Orville, and it's the Alliance of Equals, as I believe you're yeah. She could theoretically run that. Coming to the realization that it's not just old governance that sucks, it's also people who aren't actually qualified or like emotionally or intelligently stable enough to run a nation is also a problem. And I think that's weirdly a new-ish, like you understood it intellectually, but this is the first time you fucking feel it.
Oh yeah.
Which adds a little bit of fuel to your fire. Do you think Gwen would try and observe anything in this room, or is this literally just like you're trying to make the summit, you stop for a second to take some oxygen, and now
yeah, no, this is like, because she would, I'd be like casting around for anything, because I'm looking for my next move. I'm not just gonna sit still. So what is at hand?
Okay, so there are a bunch of armor fragments kicking around. If this was Doom, they would each give you like 5%. So not enough really, but a little bit. But unfortunately, nothing you can use to animate. You're also not really sure how that works in your current state. That said, there are demon knights moving around the hallway. So you had the 4 that you'd meant to leap to that ran by. Now there seem to be 2 kind of making their way. So basically in video game terms, these are the regular patrols that are kind of crossing at intervals that you can attempt to leap to. Can you please roll me a Constitution save?
Sure. 22.
Excellent. Okay. That's good. You don't lose any skill points.
Yay!
Attribute points. You know what I mean.
I was...
Yeah. So you've been doing these leaps enough now that you actually feel confident in what it feels like to leap from these pieces, to untether yourself and kind of launch yourself. So happily, it's not going to be difficult to jump to one of these folks. You also think that even though you can't embody their armor while they're soul bonded to it, you might be able to kind of essentially catch the drag off them and have them kind of carry you in their wake forward. So you prepare to leap to a pair of demon knights. As you do so, you again find yourself think almost less tethered and more just dragged along in you're drifting or drafting, whatever it is where you catch like the
drafting.
Yeah, drafting.
Yeah.
Right, because drifting is sliding around. I don't drive. Fuck me. But I do like the Fast and Furious movies. So yes, you're caught in their wake. It means you don't have a lot of control, but it does mean you're moving forward, which is nice. And the 2 of them are discussing a lockdown. You can hear alarms blaring kind of throughout the things. Again, I don't think, as we've discussed, Gwen has any care for what this means. She's just aware that these alarms are going. But one of them just says, yo, so we're just supposed to let this happen? And the other one says, yeah, I know. We just apparently we got to give it like a few minutes or something. That's the order from up top. And you know, Smithsonian's a real hard ass. That isn't a thing that comes up very often when visitors are here. But like to all the staff, he's kind of a prick. So you know, we best just let whatever is happening happen. But it's fun. It's the disused mining corridor, and you know, apparently it's gonna be better for all of us if this goes down. So Yeah, our job is not to intercede, just to observe. The other one says, "Oh, yeah, okay." And together they begin to bring you further up. Gwen, do you have any sense where Duncan is, or is it just if I go up, I will eventually find him because I need to get back to the fortress?
Yeah, it's like my thought is like he's somewhere in this.
Right.
So if I keep moving around, maybe we'll cross paths. That's kind of all it is. It's just like staying still is probably dumb because I don't know if he would ever come anywhere near where I am right now.
Understood. Okay, great. So you are dragged in the wake of these demon knights as they seem to come up to a sloped small cavern that seems to kind of twist upward. Beyond, you can hear the sounds of battle, but everyone is staying at like a safe distance, and you can see dim light from this cavern where Ita is facing down demons. But for your purposes, it's like they're staying far enough away to not be noticed, but close enough that they could step in if they had to, if that makes any sense. That said, as soon as they stop, you find yourself in a gentle drift, just kind of sliding past them, and you begin to slowly drift forward towards the sounds of battle. Speaking of, it's the demon's round, Ita. So, what is your AC right now?
Oh, it's not high. 13.
Remember how happy you were when you didn't take a bunch of fall damage?
It's 13.
Because there's demons too.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
All right, so it's 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits.
Fuck.
3 hits. I rolled a 16, an 18, a 19, and a 5. So like, could be
three
worse.
demons that are like,
So
"Rawr."
I'm just down.
And there's one demon who's like, "What?"
Yeah, one of the demons is like kind of like everyone else is like, haha, we're in the other realm. Let's eat things. And the other one's just like, wait, what? Like they just woke up. He's kind of like doing that yawning stretch thing that only happens when you're in a coffee ad.
Yeah, he's only got one eye, but it's still somehow crossed.
All right. Well, the good news is they don't hit that hard. So you're only going to take 8 points of damage.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I was rolling on D6s and I got a lot of 2s.
Yay.
So they're taking those initial swipes. What you're noticing, Ita, as they swing is they've got a bit of the Marty McFly at the end of Back to the Future going on, where they aren't. You can tell that, like, you can almost see through their hands as they attack. It unfortunately also kind of pooches your armor because they're kind of drifting through.
Yeah.
They are slowly getting more solid as they strengthen their kind of anchor on this side of the portal they've come through. But they do not seem entirely here yet. So the good news is less damage. Bad news is they only hit with a D6 on the first round. Next round, it goes up to an 8. And the round after that, it goes up to a 10. So like things are going to get bad as a warning. Because you can see that they're starting to materialize a bit further. Can you roll me a perception check, please?
Yeah. Is there a way get fucking out of here? 8. Fuck.
Man, demons. It's a bummer. Also, nothing down here is up to code. Like, you don't want to be thinking about that, but you kind of can't help it. It'd be like if someone was murdering me wearing a t-shirt with a bad font. I'd be like, that font though, as they're like stabbing me to death. The papyrus killer, it's a real threat. Okay, so that brings us to your round, Ita. Unfortunately, with that perception check, you only see and hear demons.
Great. That's great. Ida's still kind of new to me. I'm just kind of seeing
Understood.
what's available to me. Proficiency in religion isn't really going to do anything for me.
In pray. I mean,
Yeah, just start praying.
I invent a god named Moonhammer. And Tom just closes his laptop.
I was gonna say, from what we know of Moonhammer would not save you.
This is true.
Moonhammer would be like, see you when you get here, and then you get like a thumbs up.
Moonhammer would be
Yeah.
like, these are my buds. These are the Devlingtons. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, check out Dum-Dums and Dragons if you want to know what the fuck we're on about.
So I think let's see. You remind me, what does exhaustion do? Gives you disadvantage, right?
It starts at disadvantage and then it kind of escalates. So the more levels of exhaustion you have, kind of the greater the consequence. But if you're looking at like a spell that will cost exhaustion,
It's not really going to do much. All right, let's just
oh, you mean against?
yeah,
demons.
against them. Yeah, no, I'm not thinking, what if I exhaust myself? Does it give me any advantages?
That said, Laura, this is something we don't actually often touch on in our particular brand of D&D, but there are also defensive maneuvers you can take. If you don't have an immediate solution and kind of all the tools in your tool belt aren't exactly what you need right now, you can go on the defensive. You can just kind of like, rather than actively trying to hurt them for whatever D4's worth of damage, or
Yeah.
what have you, you can instead just be like, I'm just going to try and stay alive until a solution presents itself, which is also totally fair.
right.
It basically gives you advantage on like saving throws. You can.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm sitting at like 5 HP, so I'm like, I don't know what that does. What would that entail? As you can see, I haven't read up on the player's handbook recently.
Yeah, it's fine. It's been a few years. It's not like anyone lovingly handmade you a cover for yours or anything.
I know, but it's sitting downstairs. Ryan has it behind him.
I mean, what a world! What a world! So I guess what I would say is, if you basically want to run around and try not to get hit, like you're Tyler playing Sekiro or me playing Dark Souls,
Yeah, I think kind of what I would like to do is as a bonus action, cast a Draught Analysis on whoever's closest to me or looks the most like they're gonna, get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Sex, just so that I get some bonuses against them.
Sure. Okay.
By the way, I also will learn their plane of origin spellcasting ability or the level of the highest spell it can cast. That doesn't matter. Never mind. Fuck me.
Yeah,
Plane of origin. I mean, it would be interesting to know.
That's interesting. I'm
a scholar. I would like to know.
Yeah, fair enough. They will. I don't have a plane at hand for them, so we'll just say it's an infernal plane that I can give you an actual name for later. It is not here. It's not this plane of existence, so it's not like the demons are inherently in these mines. Similar to what you as Gwendolyn and the others discovered in the Shadowlands, like there are a number of other realms, and these demons seem to be coming from there. That said, in terms of spell casting, these ones don't have any spells. That isn't to say that all demons don't have spells, but these ones are slashy, low-class demons. So yeah. What else do you get from that? Anything?
That's it. I get attack bonuses. I basically analyze their movement patterns and fighting style.
Yeah, it's the Final Fantasy spell where you just like scan them, and you're like,
pretty much.
Which, as a side note, when I was playing Mario RPG as a child, thought I was doing that much damage every time I scanned a boss, and I was like, I am fucking this boss up, and I was like, I feel like I've done like 1,300 damage a bunch. Then I realized that's just how much HP was remaining, and that I was wasting full rounds doing that. So, sorry, Mallow, you tried your best on that cake boss. So, Ita, as you continue to just make the most adroit analysis you possibly can of these threats, you find yourself wishing, perhaps for the first time, that your new companions were here, because it would seem that they have some uses that complement yours in a way you were perhaps not expecting.
So I think for now, analyzing their shit so much. I'm like, now would be a good time to do some, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodging.
My man. You'll always remember your one of your early dorktorial advisors, the famed orc hero Patches O'Houlihan, giving you that advice. Now, granted, he meant in like rhetoric, but it also applies in fisticuffs. We've literally never had a fully academic character in one of these shows aside from Alan episode 1 of Dum Dums. This is very fun. I like this a lot. So I assume you're dropping into defensive stance?
100%. Because fuck.
Excellent. So remember keeping your voice echoes out into the cavern, bouncing off the walls, and very luckily hitting the ears of a friendly spore bat who happens to be high above you. Meanwhile, Duncan, you've defoamed, which is good for all involved. And Makka, what is your connection to your summoned creatures? Do you see through their eyes? Do you hear through their ears? Or do they have to report back to you?
That is a great question. I have a feeling there is no connection other than like,
as I understand it, you can kind of like
command
them, but they do their own thing.
Yeah, there isn't really any communication back.
Right. Okay.
But I can cast Speak with Animals as a ritual, so I can like have that ready to go to like just hear what they have to say, kind of thing.
Understood. Okay, so the good news is 2 bats come flying back as you struggle your way out of the foam party. The one that Ita has just made contact with is still down there, but the 2 bats have found 2 different ways down. So I assume you cast Speak with Animals, or are you just going to like, okay. The bats are like, Makka,
Oh, God.
we have found the way down into the darkness of the mines. The 2 bats have 2 different ways down. One of them has found what seems to be what we in I was going to say modern parlance, but kind of like 1930s parlance would consider basically like a pneumatic tube room, where there seems to be a lot of traffic coming in and out. The bat doesn't understand what's going on, but Makka, you would understand it as likely some kind of teleportation nexus. The other bat has found Kevin Fast Travel's fast travel business, and has access to the same sort of, obviously you guys wouldn't know this, but the same sort of disc-based travel that could kind of take you down and in. So one is, I think kind of the safest way to frame this is the discs are slower but easier, because they're easier to talk people into letting you use, because they're basically just like the standard elevators anyone would use. The teleport chamber sounds very promising, but would absolutely not be open to the public. You obviously relate this to Duncan. What do the 2 of you decide to do?
I do not know how much time Ita has, or if we are already too late.
If we can get to a teleport room, can you tell us where to teleport to?
I have never teleported before. I do not know.
But do you know where Ita is? Like, if we were in a room and you were like that way, this many, feet or whatever.
I just know that she is in the mines.
All right, well, if we know she's in the mines... Here's the question, Makka. Are you fine with me putting a gun to someone's head and saying you need to put us through the teleporter? Or do you not want to go to jail in the Dwarf Realm?
I am fine with it. If you were to shoot someone in the head, they would not succumb to the gray, and thus the cycle of life and death would be allowed to continue.
All right, then, there we go. All right, teleport room it is. All right, so our 2 broed out heroes.
Do you take a minute to resuit up like Chris Pratt inexplicably did as Star-Lord while trying to escape a prison?
Nope, it's back in our room. The clothes aren't here.
My man. All right, great. So you follow Bartok the Bat to the teleport room. Can you? So as you approach, it seems to be in what again is one of these sort of what you've come to recognize as government buildings.
Tom, are the breach alarms going off where we are?
Yes.
Great.
But,
Duncan, the moment they start to go off, Duncan will hit Makka on the shoulder and go, "That's where we go, whatever the fuck the breach is."
Unfortunately, the breach alarms are a little bit like air raid sirens, so it's just the whole facility. I will also say, no, I think that tracks. That Duncan would recognize that even though breach alarms are a common occurrence here,
he's just looking for any clue other than the mine, because it's definitely big. So, like, where's shit weird?
Yeah, buddy, I got you. So this does look like a government style building. There are two guards out in front in demon knight armor with sort of large halberds. And one of them is sipping a cooler because, like, you know, it's still Sprangbrekh, but also don't want to, get too shorty. And they're saying like, yeah, I'm more invested in the office play than I thought I was going to be. And I just really want those crazy kids to work it out. The other one's like, I like Dwart. He really speaks to me. And they begin to argue about the logistics of putting I'm trying to think what the equivalent of a medieval stapler would be. I don't know, a pair of pliers in a Jell-O mold. When the two of you approach, what is your strategy for getting past these guys?
I have something. Do you have something?
I feel like at this point it would just be like they'd make contact, and if Makka went, "I have something," Duncan would just be like, "All right, you're in charge. Let's do this."
Okay, so yeah, Makka will. What's the range? Oh, nice. Okay.
That's a great question. I love it.
I put a hand on your shoulder to stop you from approaching, and I would like to actually just have us break line of sight from these guards. Just
you're far enough. Like you're coming down the street. Like it's
step down an alley or something like that. And I say,
one moment.
And I close my eyes, and the glowing like glow caps on my shell all dim and go completely dark and black. And that blackness kind of emanates throughout my body and into you as well, Duncan. And I cast Pass Without Trace.
Whoa!
What?
Yeah. A veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has a +10 to Dex stealth checks and can't be tracked except by magical means. So I'm hoping this is your time to fucking rock it as like rolling a 30 on stealth or something.
I will say this also affects Bartok. He's also invisible now.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter, but he is.
A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks other than or other traces of its passage. So we are extremely stealthy now.
Hot diggity damn.
And, cool. Do I have to stay within 30 feet of you, I think?
Yes, for it to stay. So we have to move together to, within reason.
You're just the end of Mass Effect 2, where you have to stay in that bubble or you get punked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thought we were going to have to try to talk our way through, but I think you've got something here.
This seems faster.
Yeah, let's just go knock on the hell out. Tom, is there a way we could stealth up to try to get like around to the sides of the guards if we're in like a street?
I mean, normally no. With this, yes, absolutely. I will take a stealth check from you to do so. But yeah, no, like, again, the thing to remember is that generally speaking, outsiders don't reach this part of Sprangbrekh. They're normally greeted up there. So they're not, they're guards in a secure facility. Yes, their job is important, but like no one has raided the facility ever.
Tyler, you said it's plus 10?
Yeah.
Plus, they're both like 21. So
Add
they're
10
thinking
to
about
whatever
boobs.
your bonus
Great.
already is.
I got a 32.
Excellent. I got, unbelievably for Makka, a 29.
Wow. Look, I'm going to save you some time here. Tell me how you knock these two people out.
I mean, Makka's done this once before today, so he's got his club ready.
Yeah, and I think Duncan, he doesn't want to risk damaging Mr. Bang, which is theoretically loaded. So it's just the skull rapier is out and low. And then I think for him, it's like getting up behind the guy, but realizing if he hits him in the helmet, it might not work. So it's like a low lunge to the right, and then just a straight uppercut to the chin from the front with the skull haft of his bone rapier.
Gotcha.
I think Makka cross-checks him. He just has the claw sideways and just like into the wall that he's standing up against.
So probably set to like a cool montage song. You both walk up, and it's honestly, it's just Hobbs and Shaw. It's like, Duncan, you do this like flourish where like you change moves midway through, you uppercut him. He does the full like Brad Pitt getting KO'd and snatch thing where his whole body like flips up through the air. It's super elegant, and like you catch him and put him down quietly, and you look over to Makka, who just like body checks him into a wall and he falls over. But neither of you is allowed to lose a fight, so it's going tremendously well for both of you.
Contractually, not allowed to lose a fight.
Great. I want to pick up his weapon and just throw it behind the house at the side of the street. So like if they wake up, they're unarmed because I don't need.
Sure. Bartok grabs it and like struggles because he's a fucking bat, but like carries it off into some bushes and then turns around and gives you like a thumbs up off the hooked thumb on the edge of the wing.
Great. And then I think Makka and I are just through the door and in. Let's see what the fuck's going on.
Amazing. So true to my earlier metaphor, it feels a little bit like a pneumatic tube system. Like there's like there seem to be a couple of dwarves who are orchestrating everything, but there are a number of runic circles that have been carved into the ground. Unfortunately, at first glance, you don't know where any of these go. These two people seem to know, and you see them kind of direct someone over as you enter into one of them, and then one of them goes over and like similar to what Dagwood did earlier, touch a few of the runes and kind of concentrate, and then that person fades out the same way that the demons are fading in downstairs, if that makes any sense.
And I think Duncan will just immediately start going into full professional bluster mode. It's like when you're in the office and you're on a break, or like if you've ever worked a minimum wage job, where if you stand around, someone will give you a task to do, but if you walk looking busy, then people like let you go.
Man, I used to do laps to the stock room with a clipboard in hand, and I would just stare at the racks and go like, and someone would be like, oh, hey, Tom, can I help you find something? I'm like, no, they wanted this size of pants, but I don't think we have it. I'm going to go check the floor. And then I would just like storm back out to the floor, and I'd just do that for a solid hour. It was great.
It's worth noting that we like the Pass Without Trace is like a continuous effect for a while. Okay. If you want that option as well.
How many dwarves are there, Tom?
There are two. One just they just sent a third to a location, but now currently in the room there are just the two.
It's your call either way, but I want you to know you have options.
Cool. I think he'd like to stealth up to them then and start his conversation as a surprise, purposefully to startle them from behind, so they're thrown off a little bit.
Okay. There are two dwarves. Are you just going to speak to both of them, or are you going to try and speak to one?
Are they together? Because he'd probably just try to play both.
Yeah, they're close enough. If you want to speak to both, you can absolutely speak to both.
Great, yeah, because I'm picturing like Miles O'Brien at a teleporter. Like, sure, there's two paths.
You are correct, dude. Yeah.
Yay!
There's like what? It's like Miles O'Brien and whoever fucking day player Trek sub character is there. So like, not a named member of the crew, just someone who's like there for the panel to explode and kill them. So that when Miles can get home to his wife and kid.
Perfect. All right, so I'll talk to. I'll face Miles directly, but I'm sure we'll keep the backup person in mind, and just be like, friends, we've been sent by Weebly Strobelmeyer. This is Ambassador Ginkgo Greenleaf. We need to be sent into that breach right now to assure what's happening is meant to happen.
And
Tom, your yell startled me so hard.
Good, it should. He just yelled to them out of the darkness.
My arms are tingling.
Good,
Okay.
I'm glad. You're feeling what they're feeling. Miles O'Dwarf and his friend Barkley the Dwarf are both very concerned about what the fuck is happening in this teleporter
Yay,
room.
Barkley.
So they're like, sorry, bro. Didn't know anyone was coming through here from
the consortium
Wembley.
of Bleen. Send us to the mine. Send us to the breach, or everyone dies.
Roll a persuasion check. I'm going to give you advantage because you appeared out of shadows.
Beautiful. That is 24.
He just turns to Barkley and he says, fucking, I don't know, man. What do we do? And Barkley's like, you're my boss. And he's like, fuck, there. And he just points at a teleport pad.
Great. Go get on it. We're in. We're spooky, smoky, stealthy people, but we're getting on a teleport pad.
Great. And as you do, Barkley the Dwarf is like, now listen, I should warn you, I have some concerns about how these runic teleport circles work, and I've been trying to talk to Miles, and he's like, no time, lad! And he just slaps to the runes, and suddenly your vision begins to blur. And it's almost like getting splashed in the eyes with water, where it's just like, you can still kind of see vague shapes. And as you kind of blink out of it, you find yourselves in a small alcove that's been carved out of a cavern wall, and 4 demon knights, or I guess 6 demon knights we've established, turn and say, wait, are you guys still super stealthy? You are still super stealthy.
The effect is still there.
Roll me
but
stealth checks
it's
immediately.
19 for Makka. Rolled a 9.
26 for Duncan.
They turn, and for a second, Makka, knowing that you're not a stealthy fella, you just have that feeling of like, oh no. And they stare wide-eyed, like directly at both of you. Here's the thing. You both passed your stealth checks. Duncan, I know you would stay quiet. Makka, given that your stealth check wasn't you trying to hide, it's just you physically being there in stealth mode, do you think Makka would blow this, or would he stay quiet?
Yeah, what would Makka do? WWMD.
Makka would stay quiet for sure, but he would also probably look over at Duncan.
Okay, amazing. So you guys share a full slow 2 spies who've just been caught by the entire Soviet army look. And then you look back to the soldiers, and one of the demon knights steps forward, sword drawn. And she just looks, goes, fucking Barkley is right. These fucking things don't work right. And then she jams her sword back into the ground. She's like, anyways, that orc counting dead yet? And as she turns back, you hear a cry, a desperate cry, from the main chamber in a slightly French accent of help.
This episode of Curse Code and Crowd Sound was mixed and edited by Laura Hamstra, and the campaign was created by Tom McGee. Our original theme music was composed by Landon Knoblock, and Curse Code and Crown's logo was created by the brilliant Decapitated Markers. If you want to follow our players or our DM on Twitter, you can reach out to Laura at EL Hamstring, Ryan at the Ryan LaPlante, Tyler at Tyler_Hewitt, Tom McGee at McGeeTD, or you can message our whole company at DumDumDice. So please, join us again for more Curse, Code, and Crown!
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Chet Awesome Laser, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.